Alright folks, I've been going down a complete rabbit hole trying to find a robot vacuum and mop for me. What I've discovered is that reviews in this product category are kind of misleading. There are a ton of influencers out there peddling these things like they work really well, like they're mature devices, worthy of titles like Best Robot Vacuum and Mop. From the ones that I've tried, these are early stage devices, they don't clean all that well and they take a very long time to do it. And that's exactly the case with this one, Mova's new Z60. As you know, I've had your time, so here's the skinny. The Mova Z60 did a good job of lightly cleaning my house, but it took friggin' forever to do it, a snail's pace. On the positive though, it didn't have any material issues like the other robots I've tried. There were minimal dirty streaks left by its mop, it didn't get stuck on difficult furniture, and its dock didn't leak. Yay, minor miracle. This all being said, I'm not going to keep this one, I'm going to keep searching for a better one for me. If you do want to buy one, make sure to first check the description below the video. If I do end up finding some that I really like, I'll place links to them down there. So with that said, here's my review. The Mova did a pretty mediocre job of vacuuming. I tried several of its settings, including its high suction settings. I had this one hair on my kitchen floor that it missed several times. It wasn't until the third clean that it picked it up. And it really seemed to struggle to pick up debris around corners. Also, the bread I eat, it does have lots of seeds in it and they often end up on the floor. The Mova vacuumed up most of them, but there were still a few remaining. And as I walked around the house, I definitely saw bits of fluff that just weren't picked up either. Look, this unit says it can go up to 28,000 PA of suction, whatever the hell that means, but I just didn't find it any more effective than my older Roborock Evo Pro, which only goes up to 7,000 PA. Moral of the story, please don't base your purchase decision solely on specs. Alright, mopping. That's where a lot of these robots tend to struggle. The Mova, it does use a single roller mop. I find this to be really ineffective compared to spinning mops. They just don't seem to put as much pressure on the floor. The positive though is that they do mop along rugs and don't touch them. The robots I've tried with spinning mops, they tend to wet the edge of rugs. I wouldn't take the trade-off though, I prefer spinning mops as they do a better job of cleaning. Hopefully manufacturers of robots with spinning mops can improve their pathing to better avoid rugs. Anyway, back on the Z60. Mova wants you to use their own cleaning solution. This is common on many of these expensive mops. You pour it into a separate solution tank. If you use a supermarket bought solution with some of these roller mops, they do tend to leave visible dirty streaks of water around the house. At least that's what I found with the two EcoVacs units I tried. Unfortunately, I don't find the cleaning solutions that these manufacturers produce to be effective. It just seems like a really light cleaning solution, kind of diluted compared to a store-bought one. Guys, I don't have a way of testing this, it's just what I personally experienced. My house, it just didn't have that sparkly clean smell and look to it that it does when a robot with spinning mops mops the floor using a store-bought cleaner, or a human mops the floor. Now, in terms of dealing with obstacles, this was definitely a strong suit of the Mova. My other robots, they tend to get stuck on power cables. The Mova had no problems navigating around them. Also, a lot of robots have issues going over furniture with open legs. They often just get stuck crossing them. The Mova lifts itself up to be able to go over such furniture. So really good job there. Now, just as a comparison to my Roborock Evo Pro, its obstacle avoidance was just so bad I would literally have to mark large areas of my house as no-go zones. I didn't have to mark any areas of my house as a no-go zone with a Mova Z60, so as I said, really good job with obstacle avoidance. So, this sounds pretty decent so far, but here's the biggest issue with the Z60. It is extremely slow, by far the slowest of any robot I've tried. It took over 12 hours to clean my house. I live in a single-story 2,600 square foot house, so it is above average in size, but still. It was so slow, I would set it to start cleaning when I left for work, it was never done when I returned home. This kind of defeats the purpose of these things. You have them clean while you're out, and when you come back, the house is done. Well, not here. Since it took so much longer than the others, I stayed home to investigate. Immediately, I noticed that the Mova would just get confused, and sometimes even just sit there doing nothing while it thought. This happened a fair bit. Take a look at this example, but please don't think we've stopped the video. I promise you, it will eventually move. The other big issue is that it runs out of battery fast. Other robot vacuums, they need to recharge once when cleaning my house. Well, the Mova needed to recharge twice. This massively slowed down the Mova. Moral of the story, the Mova is so slow, you really need to break up your house into multiple cleaning days. And that is just annoying. But you could set it to do that on a schedule, so I guess it's not the end of the world, but it is disappointing for a robot at this price point. Also on annoyances, the noise the vacuum makes is on screen right now on each of its modes. It's certainly not quiet and I wouldn't want to be near a room it's cleaning. When it comes to the dock, the only thing I'll point out is that the clean and dirty water containers felt a little bit flimsy compared to the other docks I've used. This made it a bit awkward carrying them to the sink and back. I was worried the water would spill. Alright, let's talk about the app. Out of the Ecovacs, Roborock and Mova apps, the Mova one is the one I like the least. That being said, they all offer similar functionality. I honestly think they're probably just built by the same company and just rebranded. The reason though that I said the Mova one is the worst, it's because of their constant advertisements. I mean, look at this. Every time I open it up, it just pops up this massive advertisement which I can't turn off. It's so stupid. Mova makes hairdryers and robot vacuums. These aren't products that people buy regularly. What is the point of annoying buyers with these ads? Like, how often do I need to buy a vacuum? And this thing, it costs a ton of money. Like, don't advertise to me in your app. Other than this, I found it hard to see where the vacuum was on the map. Its icon is super small. So, that's my initial thoughts on the Mova Z60. It does a light cleaning job extremely slowly. If it's priced around $700 or less and you live in a smaller space, I can see a case for it. But personally, I'm going to keep searching. Now, I do want to reinforce what I said earlier. Be careful when listening to influencers in this space. There are more sponsorships here than any other space I've encountered. Let me give you an example. One manufacturer, they approached me to do a sponsored video on their new robot vacuum that they're launching at CES. Now, when I told them that I'd love to review it, and I explained my terms, that we only do unbiased and unsponsored product reviews, well, guess what? They said no. They told me they didn't have enough samples to send to people who didn't agree to their campaign terms and sign on. But of course, if I did agree to toe the line, then they magically had enough samples. Moral of the story, be careful with what you believe in this space. These companies are all about controlling the narrative and driving sales. And with that said, I'm out of here. As you may know, the main things that we review here are laptops, and they are mature devices. If you are in the market to buy one, then do take a look at our website, bestlaptop.deals. That's where we list all the laptops we recommend, and as I said, all our recommendations there are from unsponsored reviews. Go do something awesome with your day, and I will catch you later.